Hello, beautiful muses. Welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot and another Friday insight with your yes, no, maybe questions. A few housekeeping things before we jump in is phrase your questions so that if you were to get a yes, that would feel positive to you or what you're looking for. That's the way I'll be reading. And you're welcome to bring any questions you want here, but the way that I am reading for much deeper questions. So if you bring a very simple black and white yes, no, sort of like, am I going to get this job, or does this person, are they going to ask me out, which that may not be totally black and white, but things that like have a firm yes, no. The way I'm reading it may not make a ton of sense, so it's just sort of like take and leave what makes sense for you. But the way that I am reading would be for questions that have a little bit more depth to them. So instead of asking something like, am I going to get that job that I just did a final interview for, it would be, would this job be one that I liked or that I would connect to, or am I looking for the right kinds of jobs? Those are a little bit deeper in sort of the way that I am reading the energies. So just keep in mind, if you bring a very simple question here, to just take and leave what makes sense. Okay, that being said, we've got 3 piles this time. Pile 1 is a Polychrome Jasper. Pile 2, we've got Lumarian Quartz. And pile 3, Dendritic Jasper. Okay, if you have your own method for choosing piles, you can pause here and do so. Timestamps are in the descriptions. For those of you that like my breath work, to help you get into a good space for selecting a pile or piles if you have multiple questions, we'll do that now. So place your feet firmly on the ground. Feel that solidity, that stability underneath you. And now take a deep breath into that, into embodiment and grounding, sort of down into your root center. Hold that there. Now exhale. Now take another deep breath in, and this time suck the air up, up, up into the space between your brows at the third eye. Hold that. Suck in a little more air to add pressure. Now out loud, exhale, opening up your crown chakra, and look over the piles and tune into which one is sort of drawing you in. That will be your aligned message. All right, I will see you in your readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your yes, no, maybe question. You guys picked the Polychrome Jasper. So before I get into the cards, I just want to talk about some intuitive hits that came through as I was preparing your pile to kind of anchor into your reading. And a couple things happened. I first sort of was getting the sense of like some worry coming from you guys, some unclarity, like something's not clear, which makes sense coming to, a reading meant to bring some clarity. But just like even more so than I would feel from a yes, no reading, like something's just a little obscure maybe, or that you're very overly worried about. And the sense I got that it was like, no matter what the outcome, what the cards say, it was like, Spirit wants you to not worry. Like, even if there's a no here, I feel like it will be for your highest good. and I don't mean that because usually whether we get a yes or no, it's usually for our highest good. And it's not just like, suck it up, this is for your highest good, you'll see down the road. It's sort of like, it's not like a lecturing tone of like, it's for your highest good. It's sort of like, even if this is a no, it's like, it will be gentle and you'll know it's for your highest good kind of thing. Doesn't mean you're getting a no. I just get the feeling that you need to, I'm not saying like chill out or relax, but like you need to unwind a little here, let things sort of be. I do feel that makes sense now why I ended up getting two. Usually I just do one of each of these cards. This one sort of flipped over, but I saw some colors, but the colors I saw could be in plenty of different cards. So I don't know what the card was, but for some reason that made me want to draw a second card. And now it makes sense here that like, maybe there's like, we need that, just like a little extra for you guys, a little extra insight, a little extra clarity. Okay, so let's dive into the cards and see what Spirit wants to tell you about your question. Leadership, that's a beautiful card. And I do I've never really thought about this card in this way, this leadership card. Look how almost like, it's like the polar bear is almost transparent. And it seems maybe like a little bit of a aurora borealis kind of permeating the atmosphere, and then this bright like the North Star. And so when I'm looking at leadership this particular time with this particular card, it's sort of like, ease up, you've got this, like you have the strength you think you need, and it's going to be coming from gentleness. I think there's a lot of sensitivity around whatever this question is. And so just like trust your strength, and trust that your strength doesn't have to be aggressive or showy. Like your strength here is like something very soft. And so trust the strength of something soft, gentle, a little mystical. You know the direction. That's what I'm wanting to say. Like, you know the direction. Trust your leadership for yourself. You know the direction. It may be a little bit mystical, that direction, a little unclear of like why that direction. But you know it and trust it and let it be soft kind of thing. Okay, let's see what I'm going to pull both of these at the same time. So to the sea and mending. It's interesting. Both of these are 7. So 7 and then 52 adds up to 7. This is very whatever this is very spiritually oriented, even if the appearance of it to you on the surface doesn't seem so. There is something spiritual going on here. And I do think that whatever you're asking about, and what I talked about with that leadership, feeling very gentle, like trust you know the way, to me, or to you, it may feel like setting out into sea in a little boat with, a giant sea with only binoculars and a little compass. It's sort of like I'm setting sail into something that's so vast with so few tools and maps. There's like a general sense of direction. And this is saying that you are being protected, you're being watched over. Look at that face in this card. You're being guided, you're being protected, you're being watched over. Trust that those simple tools in the vastness of whatever this is are all you need, and you will get to where you're supposed to be going. And then the mending, let me look at this picture a little more closely. Yeah, it's just, to me, it's just saying like, you have all the resources you need to fix anything that kind of gets beat up along the way. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like I'm going out into this vast thing with these minuscule tools. And not only do you need to trust that those are the tools that will see you through, but that you have the resources to fix them if anything were to happen to them. You have what you need to keep those tools functional, to mend any errors or breakdown or wear and tear or accidents along the way. Like, it may seem like how could you possibly make it to your goal with the resources you have right now? But you need to trust. You need to trust. Okay, last card. The Tower. This is new order coming through. And that's why, I think that's why something about this question may feel very vast to you, is it's like something around this question has already broken down, and you're needing to kind of create a new order out of that. You need to clear the rubble and rebuild in some way. And so that mending takes on a second meaning here. There's some rebuilding going on, but it's like hard to know what you're rebuilding until the rubble of what has already kind of fallen can be cleared away. And this is just saying, like, trust the process here. Trust that you have the time, the space, the energy, and the resources to clear that rubble. And that as you do so, the more whatever has fallen apart can be sort of cleared away, the more you are going to see the new direction, your guiding compass. And if all you have right now is like, I want life to feel like this, or I want a new house like this, or I want a spouse like that, because something about a past one has sort of fallen apart, even though it's abstract, even though it's conceptual, trust that that is enough, and that you have the resources to actually get from A to Z. Not A to B, A to Z. It's sort of like you're at A, you can see Z as this North Star. You can't really see all the letters in between, but you know you want to get to Z, and it feels just really abstract to you. But trust that that's enough right now. That the little bit you can see, that just pure conceptual guiding concept that you can see right now is enough. So this is what I want to say here is it's mostly a yes, but with a little bit of like you needing to trust, you needing to stick with it, you needing to persevere. If you give up, you have the potential of a no here, but if you can stick with it, believe in that guiding concept, believe in your vision, believe in the ability to clear something away and create a new order that feels more alive, more passionate, more clear, the stronger the yes will be here. I mean, I do think you're getting a yes regardless. It's just about how strong that yes is going to be. Whether it's like, yeah, I mean, you sort of got there, or like, yeah, you got there. That kind of thing. So hang in there. Believe in your vision. believe in yourself, believe that you have the faculties, the resourcefulness, the energy to do what you need to do around this question. All right, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this resonated. If so, I always appreciate all the things, like, share, subscribe, and definitely always appreciate kind and thoughtful little comments. And I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. All right, see ya. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your Friday Insight with your yes, no, maybe readings. You guys picked this beautiful Lumarian quartz. So before we get into your cards, which hold the actual yes, no, maybe, I'm going to talk about some intuitive hits that came through as I was preparing your pile. And it was, I don't know, I don't want to say it was a simple, it was like a quick kind of hit that came through. It wasn't really in depth or really deep, but it did have strong kind of sensibility around it, of like a properness here. Like maybe there's etiquette, something around your question that involves like there's a proper way to do things, or there's some etiquette here, or there's fastidiousness here. I don't know, something like that, where there's I don't know, just like this sense of tradition associated here. So I don't know. Let's get into the cards and see maybe that clarifies what that message is that came through. So we've got flow, which is beautiful. Big full moon, which when I'm doing the reading, it's not when you're seeing the reading, but when I'm doing the reading, I just had a full moon here, actually a Pisces full moon, which is like, if any full moon was like a full moon of flow, it would be that. That makes me sort of tune into the arts a little bit. I don't know if there's something artistic about this question, cultured about this question, where it's like it gives me that sense of practice. Actually, that's what's coming through with that, like etiquette and that properness. There's like a sense of practice here that is like, once you learn the rules, practice something deeply and for long enough time, you can start to break the rules in a way that is special, is magic, is prolific. And there's like a flow around that, like a flow state coming out of having gone through your paces. That's coming on here. I don't know how that might apply to your questions. It's what's coming though. All that glitters, which I always think of fool's gold. All that glitters is not gold. That adds up to a 7. That's been prevalent in these readings. 7, 1 and 6 coming to a 7. All that glitters. Yeah, again, it's this thing of practice coming through. It's like when you really refine something about your question, you find the actual gold, not the fool's gold. And like, you know, there may be some paces to go through around this question to get to a certain refinement, to get to a certain eye, to get to a certain instinct that only comes through having done something a gazillion times, that you can distinguish the gold from the glitter. And that makes me think about just, a radio listener versus a musician. And certainly I've had songs that I've really loved and have then brought up with, people I know who are very musically proficient and them kind of scoffing at the song and being like, well, listen to this one. You would probably really enjoy this, and listen to how the production on this and this and but like I don't have the ear because I'm not a musician to know like really timeless songs versus some blip that's like trendy for a moment. It's kind of like that. There's something coming through here. So I don't know if this is talking about that's something that's starting to arise for you, or something that you need to put yourself through in order to get a better question or a better yes. And I think this tarot card's going to kind of be the confirmation of if this is sort of like telling you need to put yourself through the paces here, to develop more refinement here in order to get a yes, or in order to ask a question that's more gold than glitter, if that makes sense, or if you're coming into that ability. 3 of Spears. In this particular deck, this is about the fates, the maiden, mother, and crone. The maiden spinning the thread, the mother weaving the tapestry, and the crone cutting threads no longer needed. And it is like a refined process. It is a there is a process here. I wish this was a little more clear yes and no. What I'm getting is actually a pretty clear maybe. There's like a process you need to go through to find the flow, to find that refinement, that air, that sensibility, whatever it is, to distinguish the gold from the glitter. And it's going to be a process. And if you can put yourself through the paces, find discipline, stick with it to find your flow, to find the refinement here, you can find the gold versus the glitter. But what I'm feeling like right now is that's hard for you to distinguish at the moment. So it's hard to confirm a yes. But there is a maybe here. If you can practice, refine, cultivate, be patient, stick with something. So if this is something that's a little bit more transient, a little bit more superficial, it's probably going to be a no. But if this is something you really care about and you're like, yeah, that makes sense, I would like some more refinement around the essence of this question. Sticky, like an example coming to mind, because I use this example in my intro, is like, am I applying for the right jobs? Is this the right job for me? Would I like this job? This is sort of like, there's something here for sure, but do a little bit more research. Build up your skills in the area that this job is in. Take some online classes, talk to some experts, research this job more, find people to talk to that either work at the company or have been in roles like this before. There's like more to understand. There's more to suss out. And it's like the more you do that, the more you will get clear about this question. Because I have the sense for a lot of you that this shouldn't be a really black and white yes and no question. There's like more depth to be found in your question, or your question has a lot of depth. So not getting that clear yes no may make sense to you, that like there's just like more to tease out, more to learn, more to practice here. But the main message coming through is like, if you find some discipline and some practice and some deeper insight into this in any way you can, you'll find the gold from the glitter. So that's kind of where this needs to be left. It's like not this like super black and white thing that is coming through, but I trust that if you came to this pile, something about what I've said will resonate for you. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this did resonate, I always appreciate the things like, share, subscribe, and definitely always grateful to get kind and thoughtful comments. And I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. All right, see you guys. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your Friday Insight. Yes, no, maybe question. You guys picked this lovely Dendritic Jasper. So before we dive into the cards, I'm just going to bring up some intuitive hits that came through to sort of set the foundation here. And there was a lot of, I wouldn't necessarily say there was nervous energy coming into this, but there was kind of scrambled, messy energy. So I don't know if this question for some of you is sort of like shooting from the hip, or like one that's not super thought through, or one that's being rushed through or something. And it doesn't mean there's a no here, but there is sort of some scrambled energy that could do with some, take some breaths. Find a little bit of calmness and thoughtfulness and just like ground a little bit, I feel like. But let's actually look at the cards, because I don't necessarily think that has to do with yes or no. It's just sort of some guidance. Simplicity. Well, based on kind of the feeling that's already come through, like, can you make yourself feel like this? Can you make this question feel simple and light and easy? Can you slow down? Like a feather falling through the sky is very slow, very gentle. That definitely makes me feel like things need to slow way, way down around this question in order to get it to the right feeling, the right mode, if that makes sense. So not necessarily a yes or no yet, but it's kind of giving us a temperature here of like where you need to be versus where the intuitive hits that were coming through make me feel like this, at least the question is at. And community. Again, there's like what I'm picking up on because of the card next to it is these leaves falling or blowing away in the wind. It's again this feeling of like meandering, letting things flow, letting things float. I don't know if there's something you need to like stop pushing at with this question and just like let it be, let it, go with the flow thing here. There's something about going with the flow, which would make this question more primed for a yes, not necessarily a yes, but like if you're trying to push things or rush things, like you're definitely going to get a no here. But if you can go with the flow, you may just be blown in the right direction. Does that make sense? So like at this point, I'm getting a maybe, because like even if you do slow it down and go with the flow, that flow may not take you to the yes. But I do think it will take you somewhere beautiful, if that makes sense. So currently a maybe, but I want to see what the tarot card says before we really solidify that answer. The Star. Yeah, I do get the sense that there's some kind of new thing on the horizon, some new hope, some new vision coming through for you, or around this question. But it's hard to see kind of the details of this. And so there's something being asked of you to trust some impulse, trust some conceptual envisioning energy, and not have to have all the details mapped out. I think there's going to be some travel with this, and as there's movement and travel with this, things are bound to change. So what I'm going to say here is, like, in general, the concept of this question will get a yes, but it's not going to be a yes in the way you want it to be right now. This is going to take time. There's going to be a need to kind of let whatever this question is sort of travel, meander, plug into new things, find new allies, find new information, find new sources of something that will inevitably tweak and shift how things end up manifesting. So it's like a very general yes, but specifics of this are not going to be what you think they are. I hope that makes sense. But the main thing there's two things coming in here. The guidance to go with the flow, to ease off trying to force something here, because that's creating some scrambly energy. Like, float a little, simplify this, make it more conceptual, be okay with it just being a vision, be okay with it just bringing you some new hope and some new impulse, but let it go where it wants to go, this question, and believe in it. So the main message, there's guidance of, like, let this go with the flow and let it be simple. But the message coming through is, like, stick with the belief, stick with that hope that's coming through. It will lead this to a beautiful place. So it's a strange yes. It is a yes, but it's just like, it's going to be how this manifests, how this yes comes about, has a lot of tweaks to go through. It has a lot of the details and the specifics of it are not yet congealed, and so those specifics almost certainly will not look anything like any specifics you have in your mind. But the concept of this, stick with it, let it travel, let it meander, and it will lead you to a yes, just in a different sort of form. But it is leading you somewhere beautiful. Yeah. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If so, I always appreciate the things like, share, subscribe, and definitely always grateful for kind and thoughtful little comments as well from you guys. And I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. All right, see ya.